Do you ever wonder why some people's lives seem so smooth? And for others, they are always struggling. One of the answers I have is that there are those that plan for the eventualities of life. And one of the most meanest statement at that time I thought was when somebody said, "Do not make your poor planning my emergency." Do not make your poor planning my emergency. And it got me thinking, true. You got a baby 14 years ago, the baby is going to secondary school, or the baby is going to campus, but someone somewhere is calling all the family members, telling them, "My child has been called to this school, please give me school fees." Or "My child is in campus, I need money." Or the way we cast January, that I have paid school fees. January is a bad month. We pay school fees, we are left with no money. And I wonder, 14 years, that child was growing, you knew that child would go to high school, you knew the child would go to campus, but there was no planning. So what happens? We make, as a society, other members of the family and friends run around looking for money for your child's school fees or my child's school fees, yet it is my poor planning or your poor planning that is making all these other people run and making it their emergency. So do not make your poor planning my emergency has really been a statement that has pushed me along and has made me plan for each and every stage of my children's life. The other emergency that people run around about for the sake of others, which is a good thing. I have nothing against people contributing towards Harambee for medical, Harambee for this and that. I have nothing against that. But if people could plan, make sure your parents have NHIF, number one. The basic medical insurance is National Hospital Insurance Fund. For as little as 5,000 shillings, an individual and their family is insured for the bare minimum of the medical insurance that we have in the country. Then there is the other insurance medical covers, whereby you insure when you want to go to that big hospital, or when your class is that big hospital, then you buy an insurance either for yourself, for your family, for your parents and your parents-in-law, so that when that time ever comes, there is no running around. There is no emergency for other people to run around about. But we have those emergencies all the time. But people are getting more impatient. Many people are not going for those harambees. Many people are not contributing. Just the way people stopped contributing for weddings and pre-weddings. So slowly people are getting out of contributing for medical covers and medical insurance. If we could plan early, both for our parents, for our children, and I usually say even for that person or that relative who as much as asks you for money to take their child to hospital, when they get totally unwell and there's a big bill, you will run. The best thing to do is spend that 500 a month, buy them a medical cover for themselves and their family, and then that burden, they'll never make you run around again because of an emergency which wasn't planned for. So today, as you can hear, I'm talking about planning for emergencies. An emergency are those things that come up which are not planned for. So one is a medical case. The other one is life happening, like now what has happened with this corona. And you find very many people, when the roads were open, they went back home because they couldn't afford to pay rent, they couldn't afford life in the city. But there are those who, even though they lost their jobs, they continued because they had created an emergency account. An emergency account is a fund you create over time, but it can support you for 6 months to 1 year if everything else stopped in your life that brings an economic gain. So I just want to encourage us, look at your life, see, if any emergency came up that required 200,000 shillings, do I have it? If my parents were ever told they need to go to India for treatment, do I have a cover for that? Or do we need to sell something? Then sell it today. Don't sell it when that person is unwell. Sell it now. Then keep the money in a fund that can be called an emergency account, where you can run and withdraw and do the necessary without the whole world getting to know about it. Once again, I am Lisa Muromi. Let's review this together. Thank you.